I'm asking you. Okay.
We're
got it.
recording.
Yeah,
Yeah, apparently I'm the host.
you're the host with the most. Okay, so I think you're
Yeah.
recording. Is it admissible for you to send me the recording after this meeting?
It'll be
'Cause I-
posted.
You'll post it,
It'll-
okay?
Posted
Because
on
I'll
you.
use that to generate the minutes if that's acceptable.
That's a good idea.
It is. Feel free to take notes as we go along, but
Very good. Got
we
my notes.
recognize you as temporary clerk for the purposes of the meeting. So
Okay,
Clark or is he?
The black line, yeah.
Clark, you know that word.
It's like English.
So this is a Public Access Cable Committee. We're meeting in hybrid mode. If you want to join in, you can find the link on the calendar. Joe has actually just made the meeting, which is good. So by roll call, present are Paul, who is coming in by Zoom, Pete Lincoln, who is real.
Have to turn it more.
Yeah, well, you'll have to. Yeah, we'll work it out. Faith is here, and strangely, I am here as well. Joe just walked in from another meeting, so we're all in good shape at this point. Do you need one of those, Joe?
Okay.
Okay. I don't have the Joe's notes for you, Paul, so
okay. Maybe Joe can send them later. Would that be necessary? Or I'm gonna be trying to get in touch with Joe anyways in the next week or so to catch up with her, so I can get them then. How about that?
okay, putting it further away.
I will move closer to Pete.
Yeah. It's no meeting, you know that. Everybody good? Okay. So having done roll call, the meeting started because I showed up late, a few minutes late, my apologies. Are there any public comments? Hearing none.
Steve,
and-
pardon
Yeah.
me, do you have to make an announcement about the recording, et cetera, according to the law?
About
Is that- Are you supposed to make some sort of an announcement that this meeting is being recorded, et cetera?
well, yes, I could say it is being recorded and
Okay,
will be put up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fairly promptly.
good.
Thank you. I take all these inputs. Steve Archambault is not here and had let me know beforehand, to let us all know, in fact. So any committee comments?
Since I don't see it on the agenda, I'd just like to say that you and I reported to the town council.
Oh, yeah, but that's
And,
under communications, but yes.
We are free and clear. If there's a problem on the broadcast, it's between the person who is making the comment and the person directed at. Videographer, Pacc, the town are not responsible. So we don't have to worry about editing.
So, right, it's not practical anyway, but the attorney was very clear that we are covered under the
Right.
Communications Act, I believe,
Yeah.
of 1934 or something like that.
He said it's actually up to the committee chairman to control the meetings.
Right,
The committee chairman could stop something if something went amiss.
so
But it's not up to the TV people.
there's no responsibility on
At all.
the videographer,
None.
no responsibility on you or the committee or the town. We do not have to edit afterwards. We know we shouldn't anyway from previous history. He was supposed to get us something in writing. I'm not sure whether he actually will, but he basically said our concerns was, in particular, the concern of the videographer having to make a decision wasn't a concern. They mustn't. They keep running. If the chair closes the meeting down, then that's up to the chair, at which point we can stop recording, should stop recording. So that was good and positive for all of us, and the videographers should know this. I also said to Heather at that point, maybe the chairs of some of the committees should understand this. That if the meeting starts to get out of control, it's up to them to either control it or terminate it. So whether she'll do anything, that's entirely up to Heather. So
That is a rare occurrence, right, Joe?
A meeting's getting out of hand.
You gotta hit.
Uh,
Only to put you to sleep.
I haven't,
Yeah, I know.
well, I haven't heard any obscenities, but I've seen some get pretty out of hand.
sometimes the problem is the chair can be part of the issue.
Right.
But anyway, so that's where we left that.
Question on that,
Yes, Paul.
did they talk about recessing a meeting? Like, we all have to take a break and come back? Because you used the word
That-
terminate.
That wasn't part of our discussion, but from
Okay.
previous history, if they go into executive session, for instance,
Mhm,
we keep the camera rolling,
mhm.
and when they come back, we carry on as if nothing had happened. And further, if we put it up on YouTube or broadcast it on the cable system, we leave that blank time in as
Mm.
Doesn't
executive.
make sense.
Well-
It doesn't, but
Unless that they conclude the meeting and then go into executive session like the selectmen do all the time.
Well, if they conclude the meeting, we're not recording.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay.
Yes, good, thank you.
Well, we're on that meeting. We did raise the issue with the attorney and Heather about using drones.
Right.
Yes,
And that is on the agenda, so we'll address that conversation when we talk about the item on the agenda. Is that okay with you, Paul?
absolutely. Thank you.
Excellent, boy. So
You don't
that
have to group-
covers committee comments, any communications? Hearing none, we review the minutes of the last meeting, which clearly state that we're meeting on December the 5th. That was a bundle of fun trying to fix that up.
I bet it was.
Well, we had to make sure we couldn't use the Zoom that we were assigned for Tuesday. Had to redo it. So anyone have any comments, positive, negative, or otherwise on the meetings from Monday, November the 7th?
Yes, in our meeting that we had with Heather. She claims that the only thing that is kept on record. About these meetings is the minutes. Not the tapes. So. The minutes that we used to have. Were about 4 sentences long. And now the minutes have been terrific.
They're very
Very
good.
detailed.
I like that.
Because the minutes we had before were simple topics with no details, whatever. But anything that goes on at the meeting, if it's not in the minutes, it won't be permanent record. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay, we did know that because we had to warn other committees they couldn't use them as the minutes. Because some of them had chosen to basically say our recording was the legal record.
Yeah.
The attorney also confirmed, which is good, that keeping the recording of the meeting isn't subject to the 7-year or whatever public records keep time or whatever they call it. So we can do what we want as appropriate for our archiving, and the minutes, as you just said, are the specific and legal record of the meeting.
Right.
you know, some minutes only that on committees I've been on, not town ones, but have just been motions and
Yeah,
actions,
Right,
no
right.
discussion, or
right.
I think ours are more detailed than they need to be, but that's still good for,
I find them an
Us.
excellent balance, quite
Yeah.
honestly.
uh-huh,
Some, I've been on enough committees to know that some are very sketchy and some are,
Yeah.
the ones we have, the Eagle House are unbelievable. I think they're gonna become a norm.
Mm.
Okay, do we have,
I'm sorry, I'm the question guy, but it does bring another question. In terms of the practice from Pacc, Joe. You put meetings up on YouTube. Is there a kill date for those? Or do they stay on the YouTube channel forever?
They'll stay forever unless I take them down.
Okay.
not as a legal record, actually as a convenience for us
No,
archiving?
a lot of the people that do minutes for the boards and committees will contact me if their meeting was not put up on YouTube immediately because they have to get the minutes done.
Right,
And I've told several people, don't rely on that. We have
Yes.
technical difficulties sometimes
Yeah, right,
yeah.
and things can happen, but I'd say 3 or 4 committees do that. And regardless of what I said.
if they were the legal record, we would be requiring 2 cameras, 2 videographers.
Yeah,
We'd have to double up just for reasons of technical failure.
So we're doing this for the convenience of the town. Both people who live
Yes.
here. Yeah,
So residents can watch those
and
meetings.
residents, yeah. Good. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion to accept the minutes?
so moved.
Moved,
Second,
seconded by Faith. Did you get that, Paul?
I did, and I vote yes.
Okay, let's move to the vote, right? Paul,
Yes.
Pete,
Yes,
Faith,
yes,
and me, so it therefore passes. Thank you. Okay, so I have here the manager's monthly report.
Okay.
Manager being present.
As usual, it's not in priority order. Just to stream of thought. I wanted to make it known that our ending balance now is 929,239. We're getting there.
plus 2 cents.
And 2 cents. I thought I'd throw the 2 cents.
Yeah, put
Give
my
her 2 cents
in,
in.
Yeah.
Right,
I met with the superintendent twice in November, along with IT about their hybrid meetings. We went through equipment and their needs, and they've ordered the equipment and we're gonna have to do testing when that comes in.
but
So-
we're not paying for it, right?
We did not pay for it. In fact, we will not be covering the meetings per se. What's gonna happen is the superintendent will manage the camera from her computer
Okay,
with some software that she has. It's a PTZ camera.
yeah,
It will require public access to go in using the laptop and the encoder and encode that meeting over to the Castus. And they will, at the end of the meeting, shut that down.
okay. Are we live broadcasting or only delayed?
Live.
So they will give us a feed that you will suck in through a laptop,
Yes,
redirect having modified as necessary technically to the casters and it'll go straight out.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. I have the plans. I didn't bring them with me, but
Then
it's going well so far.
it's going on both education and government channels?
It's gonna go live only on the educational channel.
Yeah.
Because there are other meetings on Channel 8 that are being broadcast.
That's fine, but
Yeah.
that's a good thing to put on there.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we hired a new videographer in November, Matt Monroe. He's from Dunstable and he's very excited to work with us. He started today. He's got 2 projects lined up as well as shadowing the other videographers to do the live broadcasts. He'll be doing that throughout the month. Twice. Well, I only met once with Castus via Zoom with Andrea, the bulletin administrator, regarding the old bulletins and setup of streaming the bulletins, because she was using version 4 Castus, and version 5 is much easier. It's the newest version.
Do we have that?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm not all that familiar with version 5, so I sat in on the first Zoom meeting. Second Zoom meeting, I had a conflict, I couldn't make it, but they went through the setup of the bulletin, streaming the bulletins at the second meeting, and at that time, they discovered that there was a problem with the kill dates on the bulletins, like we've been seeing. They said they'd look into it at first, but then when they were doing the stepping through it with Andrea, they acknowledged, gee, I guess these aren't coming off the air when they're supposed to.
Wow.
So I have to follow up with Andrea and the administrator at Castus about that. I haven't had a chance to do that, but
Oh, boy.
yeah,
A lot of November ones on the second.
still.
There was September ones the last time.
Let's get closer.
Maybe the September 2023.
Say again?
Maybe they were September 2023. They're just getting ahead of themselves.
Maybe. I met with a woman who was introduced to me by Heather Lemieux, the town manager, who is a victim of drunk driving. And she is in a wheelchair, and she's had years of difficulty, and it's just an all-around sad story. But she used to go to driving schools to talk to kids and reach out to anyone she could to let them know what can happen. So we're gonna do a program on her.
Great.
Yeah, so I met with her a couple of weeks ago. We're gonna start doing something probably next week or the week after. And I've talked to Dan about helping me with that. I may see if Matt's available, although I have him pretty busy, so that project's coming up.
Is that in
November,
studio?
pardon?
Is that going to be in studio, or are you going to go to her?
It's gonna be a lot of different things. It's gonna be in studio, it's gonna be at location interviews, it's going to be some Zoom interviews. Her children don't live near here, and we want to get their take on it, so we'll probably record a Zoom session. So we just want to gather up as much information as we can.
Very good.
Yeah.
It is. That's really nice that that's been done. It's good.
Sounds like a good project.
It'll be, yeah, I really want to do it justice. In November, we set up a recorded town meeting, although we had a transmitter problem, so Steve and I met to review transmitter receivers as a special town meeting postmortem. And we found that they work just fine.
We couldn't replicate what happened in the auditorium.
So
Yeah.
what do you think could have? Any theories?
We had a plurality of people trying to set these up at
Oh.
the same time. At least two of which didn't know how our new transmitters worked. And at about 2 minutes to 7 at the town meeting, I actually got Heather to re-plug her computer into the wall. So we really completely took out one transmitter, which is unfortunate because it didn't give us what we wanted to give proper coverage. What we lost was Heather's computer coming directly into the
like her
AV
charts and
matrix.
things like that.
Right, so we were picking them up off a camera, which loses a lot of resolution.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a mess, so
Yeah,
we have a possible solution which Joe may get to that may help us to avoid this problem in the future. Did I say that right?
perhaps.
Is it going to be that no one should touch our equipment,
Well,
no one else besides authorized people?
the problem is we had two people doing it, neither of whom really knew what they were trying to set up.
Mhm.
Due to a curious miscommunication, I wasn't there when things were set up on the Monday. Because I got a message saying it's tomorrow at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I assumed it was.
I'm a
2
night
days
owl, what
hence.
can I say?
That wasn't, yeah, there were two ways it came in that said he was. So I showed up a day late, which is not.
And $1 short.
No, I had a dollar.
He had the money.
I had $2.
But
So anyhow, we're gonna use another venue to test it out in the near future.
well, the same venue, but a different function.
Oh, true. Got it, different
What we're
function.
going to try and do, rather than wheel all the equipment over, is when they do, are you smarter than a fifth, sixth, fourth
Fifth grade,
grader?
right?
Fifth grader.
Whatever they use. We're going to set up the full camera environment that we would use for the town meeting, which is sheer luxury for filming something like that. But we will use it because then we'll be in the proper environment with all the interfering frequencies like the wireless microphones and everything else.
Huh?
And that'll also give us, we think, a couple of weeks if we run into a problem to try solving
Right.
it. So,
Good.
so that's our master plan to avoid this, because
Can you hear us, Paul?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
Very-
good.
Very well, maybe just as well as you can hear one another. It's good.
Yeah, you're fine.
maybe better. It's an expensive laptop.
Yes.
We added 7 new programs this month, but they were mostly PSAs.
Uh-huh.
5 of them were local. So that worked out well. I finally ordered and set up the Final Cut software on the MacBooks. And I just ordered the USB adapters because they're USB-C into the Mac. And we have the USB-As, I believe. So I need the adapter to connect the drives that go with the MacBooks. We have an Instagram account that's being set up. I provided photos of the videographers and information about each one. As well as information about Pacc that went into the communications newsletter at Fitchburg State University, which is looking for volunteers and producers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good,
Our PR people,
yeah.
Did that
Yeah,
for me.
people, I like that, that's good.
yeah.
Is there an Insta URL or whatever you call it for Instagram yet?
It's Lunenburg Public Access.
That's it. One word?
Yeah.
Okay.
One word,
That I don't know. I'm not familiar with Instagram. I'm gonna become familiar with Instagram, but
Same here. Yeah. My daughter uses it and she's in Europe. So, you know, here you go.
yeah.
New platform for us. Okay. Thank you, Joe.
And you're welcome. And that's all I have.
can I raise two issues on the
Yes,
town meeting?
yes.
One of which is the new transmitters we got came with non-functioning power supplies. Where do we stand on that?
I asked Travis to send me a link to some good power supplies and I haven't gotten them yet, so I'll follow up with him.
Okay. And the other is I'd had a conversation with Joe about buying a portable tester. Which I can't find one cheaper than this. It's on the expensive side. But it would let us set up an environment like that without having, for instance, Heather's computer there, we could set it up and test it and make sure it's working. We could test all the cameras, all the cables, all the transmitters, put the entire environment together, even if we didn't have the voting machine, even if we didn't have Heather's. It's obviously called a Security Tronics IP Buddy all-in-one IP analog surveillance camera tester.
See
Which-
that?
Something like that. Sorry, can you see that?
No, it's okay.
It's basically what it'll let us do. If I find the right piece of paper, we can use it as a signal source. We can use it as a signal monitor for both HDMI, which is what we use for two of the transmitters, and SDI, which is what we use for direct connection and the other two transmitters. So we can test all of this out. It also has a bunch of functions that we probably wouldn't need, but I couldn't find one that has proper pass-through. So we can put it anywhere in the network that we create. Just put it in the middle of a cable, basically, and see what's traveling on the cable and make sure things are right. Unfortunately, that's what it looks like. It's $800, which I'm a little uncomfortable with, but I believe if we'd had that, we could have completely eliminated what went on at the last town meeting. So I'm actually recommending to Joe that we requires it. That's the B&H sheet, which you can have if you want, Joe.
Okay.
Anyone have any questions or comments?
Do we need a motion and vote, or can you just recommend to Joe?
I don't think so. I think we just recommend it to.
I don't know, why don't we be safe, because purchases over a certain limit,
Typically over 1,000.
is it typically over 1,000?
So this is under that. That's
Okay.
right.
Okay.
I think we're all right.
Okay,
Can I ask a question? Where's the HDMI inputs?
On the top, probably, you see.
It
where
looks
the
like
two-
I see the SDIs.
Yeah, but the HDMI's are flush, so you wouldn't see them. But it is, if you look at the last page,
I mean, I knew that.
if you look at the last page, it tells you HDMI in and out.
Okay,
The problem has
HDMI
been
in and
trying to
out.
find one that's got both SDI and HDMI. What this will do as well, although presently we don't think we have a need for it, is a little frightening, but you can put it in between the control room and the cameras in the town hall, and both monitor and control the PTC cameras in there. So if we had a problem, we could actually use that. So it'll do more than we're looking for. But despite desperately trying to find one, I couldn't find one without, it comes with all these features.
yeah,
But I was really uncomfortable with the way it came together at town hall, as I think Joe was.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this would be a
mm,
slightly expensive, but a really good tool to have in our back pocket.
and will it continue to be viable, or will technology keep changing, and so it,
Well, as long as we're using the AV matrix, which has 4 SDI inputs and 2 HDMI, that'll be as handy as it gets.
okay.
Things will change eventually.
Mhm.
The other thing I found while searching, this is only $50, is an HDMI cable tester. So you can plug a cable into the tester, both ends of it, because we are both suspicious that some of our HDMI cables aren't the most reliable element in our network. Did I say that politely?
It was very nice.
Because, and it's difficult to tell.
Hmm.
But these, you can find one on B&H, they're $50. So I think that would be valuable, especially before we go out to set up for a town meeting.
Yeah,
The cables that we're planning on taking, we
Yeah.
can do it. Takes about a minute to do a cable.
Okay, great.
Anyway, that's what I brought as a consequence of my discomfort with the town meetings.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody? So the manager is happy with her report because I am. Everyone else. We're all happy?
Always happy.
Excellent. Paul, did you have something to bring for the drone policy, or would you prefer we tell you what the attorney and Heather said at our meeting?
I would prefer that you and you let us know what you and Peter talked to Heather about, please. Thank you.
Basically,
Straightforward,
well, you're telling me.
okay? We can't hire anyone. And we can't pay anyone. If someone wants to volunteer to use a drone, that's acceptable.
Okay.
What it means
Essentially
is
what he said.
we can't pay them without going through a procurement process.
Yep.
We still have to be careful because liability may end up with the town, even though they have their own insurance.
Okay.
So it's extremely difficult, despite all of us really wanting to do it. The other issue that came up is if we did want to go through the process of procurement and everything else, so it goes out to bid, there would be a conflict of interest if you bid on it as a member of the committee.
Mm-hmm.
Probably none of that surprised you.
No.
Well, if you could pay for it, we do have a line item called vendor services.
Right.
Could always be used, but if we can't pay for them, then.
Yeah,
Well, there may have been a confusion because we talked about $4,000 for insurance that I think
Oh,
Aya told us about for one football match. You remember that? But I don't know how much it is, and I don't know what the rules are for procurement. But the attorney was very clear on it being done through proper procurement channels, and Heather was very clear. You can't give the job to a member of the committee. That's conflict of interest.
if it's
If
paid.
it's paid,
If it's
but
paid.
if
If
it's
he wants to
volunteer,
volunteer to do it on his own as a citizen
Yeah,
and give it to us, he can do that.
but that means that Joe mustn't have asked him to do it,
Right.
even as a
Right.
volunteer. I'm
Right.
just trying to make
mm,
very clear, if Paul went and did the homecoming parade without telling us and came to Joe with a thumb drive and said, here's a video I made that you can put up. We're good with that, but it cannot be under direction of Joe or the committee.
okay,
It
So,
also can't be under direction of anyone on Joe's staff. It
Right.
sounds like to me. So in other words, this all came about because a videographer
yeah, you're
reached out
right.
and asked me to provide drone footage. So that would be the same as it coming from Joe.
mhm,
Actually, if you'd already taken the footage,
Yeah,
somebody asked you for it,
that's different.
that's
Yeah.
different.
Okay. Okay.
Interesting point.
Yeah.
If they
All
ask,
right.
they ask you to shoot something,
Mhm.
that's bad. If you say
Yeah.
I shot it, here's the video, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
well said.
Sort of reverse, don't ask,
I
don't tell.
love to do this, Sorry, Paul.
I said it's like a reverse, don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah, it kind of is like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you have something you want to bring to us, having given you that news, or do you want to review what you've done and bring it to the next meeting?
The latter, I'd like to review and bring to the next meeting. Possibly I'll have, I'm allowed to have a conversation with you one-to-one, Steve, about this if I need some.
Yes, you are.
Okay, so
You can
yes,
have-
I'll work on something and bring it to the next meeting. So I think the
Right.
whole goal here was to A, get clarification, what you got from the attorney.
Right.
And B, have some kind of a written policy. So that it's
Yeah.
clear and it's on paper. And it goes somewhere, I don't know where, but then we have it so that it's really for Joe to fall back on as well.
I'll bring a paper shredder with me.
Goes into the twilight zone.
Yes. Very good.
Okay, that also means, Mr. Secretary, the drone policy needs to be on the agenda for next month.
It's good show.
Did you get that?
Did we
Mr.
lose you? Oh,
He's
Huh?
writing it down.
Oh, I'm the secretary. I thought I was, yeah, that's right. Put on. Put on the agenda for next month, yes.
there you go.
Yeah,
Just wanted to make
Well,
sure.
so
we
let's,
didn't-
okay, so just actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, as I was dozing off here. Because I'm doing Steve's job for him tonight, it's also my, obligation to at least begin the agenda for next month. Is that correct?
Well, usually the best way is you either write them up or pass clear notes over to Steve and he would
Okay.
issue them.
But
But that's why he needs to know to put that on the agenda.
Okay, yeah, very good.
Whichever way works, you're allowed to talk to him.
Yep. Good.
What?
Did you get recorded?
Of course I did.
Okay, good.
It's recording minutes, it's true. Yes. There's a little box at the top, which is. So. Bit late to ask that.
yeah.
I just like, just occurred to me.
You didn't turn all red.
Okay. We have on the agenda the Pacc staff use of personal equipment policy, but I think we were holding off on that till we did the drone one, unless somebody has something to bring.
I did put it up on the Mass Access Forum, but I didn't get any responses.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Joe, remind
surprised
me,
we
how
got-
many, approximately, how many folks would be on that forum?
Oh, gosh.
300 towns.
No, well, yeah, there,
That's all on it.
there would be maybe 130.
But they're all people in this business.
Yes,
Mhm.
interesting that there were no responses.
Maybe I worded it wrong, maybe they didn't understand it. I can go after it again.
There
I
might
don't
be
think it
use.
would hurt if
Yeah.
it's not too much on you to do that.
No, not at all.
And you know, what I'll do is get in touch with you the next day or two. Maybe we can sit down and talk about some of this stuff. Maybe there's a few people I can call, even though it's not, it's gonna be as wide a net is going through Mass. But yeah, so to be continued as well.
Yeah, so it needs to be on the agenda.
Yeah,
And so does the next item.
Well, no, the one after that needs to go first. We
Oh,
always put these down backwards,
okay,
but it's traditional, so we'll keep it.
okay.
So the next meeting is 6 o'clock, January the 2nd, which is of course the day after January the 1st.
Yes,
Now, according to Mr. Lincoln at the end, unless we've got a very good excuse, we shouldn't reschedule meetings.
Right.
However, I did use the word, it's the only time tonight, just.
I'm warning you.
is the library going to be open?
Well, we have the room booked presumably. yeah.
Okay, then it is. Well,
It's-
sometimes,
Second works for me.
sometimes there are
Works for me too.
holidays on Mondays, that's all I was
Yeah.
saying. But it works for me, I'm fine.
It's
Does it
been,
work for you, Paul?
yes, but that's a curious question is, are people maybe getting the prior Friday off? You know how a lot of employers, state offices, et cetera, but it like if the kids would come back to school on the 3rd as opposed to the 2nd.
I don't know, so
What
what can we say, subject to the room being available?
Yes,
okay, what day of the week is January 1st?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yeah,
We all right?
Sometimes they do kick it over a day,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why,
That's the problem.
yeah,
and
but
that,
like you
we
said.
have,
if
we
you
have,
booked it-
but we have in our protocol. If this is not available because it's a holiday on Monday, we go to next Monday automatically,
Yes,
not Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever.
Oh, yeah, right.
So we will be in January 9th.
yeah,
Do we actually? I guess I'm trying to ask the question,
did we
do we
vote
want to
on?
schedule it for July the 9th right now? Or do we want to find out and change it if necessary?
We could find out. I could run out right now if you want and ask her.
You could ask them
Well,
if
it's,
they,
it's a national thing. Like, if there's a calendar kicking around for next year, it would say
Well, I've got that on my phone,
holiday.
I would think.
Yeah, would say, New Year's Day observed. Sounds to me like because it's on a Sunday, it would be the Monday that they would have the
For sure.
recuperation day, if you will.
Except that I had it in my phone calendar that it was, so Steve must have already booked it.
which means
You
the
go to find
library
out?
should be open.
Yeah, I'll just go check.
That's a
That would actually
Be
be
the
the easiest.
easiest thing.
what's wrong?
Need to move story time off a week. Instead of having it the third, well, yeah, instead of doing it the 21st, I wanted to do it on the 14th, and I believe it's.
Every month?
Fortunes, no,
Oh, just this month.
yeah, I
Yeah,
believe
tell-
it's the
yes, it
Fortunes.
is. Yeah,
Tell them I can do it anytime. It doesn't have to be at 5. If 10 in the morning works for them, I'll do it at 10 in the morning. But I want them to do Christmas books.
you just did Christmas books.
Yep, but I'll be able to
Okay.
squeeze in
Okay,
some more. Because if we do it on this Wednesday, I should have the books by Monday latest. I can edit for 2 days
14th.
instead of the 21st.
Anytime.
Anytime they
Yeah.
want.
They are way on one. 15th. I'll see if I can get in touch.
Or tell them the 15th or 16th, I'm free.
Okay,
If 14th doesn't work for them.
They're not open January 2nd.
So we probably
so
should.
it's nice that
Well, we have two options. We can use the studio or we can move it out.
I
a
have
week.
a hard time with the studio. The lighting's not good in the front and the last time I was there, it scared me. I couldn't see in the dark, and I know there were steps down and there's a ramp, and I couldn't see where they were, and I didn't want to go off the edge.
Mhm.
And the parking,
is the town hall open? The town hall is not open, we cannot use that building.
I don't know that.
That's
Yeah, I might,
same like, no, like if school is not being
Yeah.
held.
I might have it off.
yeah. Why don't we just make it to the 9th?
Well,
think
we
that's
we
easier.
have a meeting monitor guy sitting at the end of the.
Damn right, I ran so many meetings in school,
Who knows?
I got new rings in my arm.
So are we
It's like,
in agreement? We move it to the 9th?
Yeah.
just let
Yes.
Steve know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's
Mr.
the
Secretary,
Yes,
we're moving the next meeting to January the 9th, 6
Yes.
o'clock.
And we better check.
If the Sudolnik room is available. So that's something else for Steve to check on, if you wouldn't mind.
You check right now.
okay,
You could too.
Paul, I can email you a list of everything I went over for my report. That way you could just write it up from that.
yes, Joe, that's fine, that will be sufficient, because I did take notes anyway, so I got a good, I got a good picture of it, thank you.
And then you can put baseball back on it in January.
Okay.
Yes.
So I believe that doesn't require motions and things, but adjournment would.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Did you get that, Paul?
I did, it was, motioned and seconded. Moved
By
and seconded.
Faith and Pete. So no discussion being required. All those in favor by roll call. Paul,
I,
Pete,
Aye.
Faith,
Aye.
and me. Aye. In which case, thank you all. Thank you.
you're
Let's see if I
welcome.
can find out how to
Adjourning
stop
at
this
6:55
thing recording.
PM.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did we make it within the hour again?
We did, 6:55 PM.
Hey,
Well,
good
we
for
didn't-
us.
We started a little later tonight, so we did.
Yeah.
It's good. Good work, everybody.
I'm stopping recording. Thank